Peace and Black Power. Welcome to another edition of Baba TV, House of Consciousness. Once again, I'm very privileged to be in the presence of this mighty brother right here, Dr. Issa, who always has a lot of information to give to our people. And he has a very important message that he would like to give to us today.
Peace and Black Power, African power. When we say Black Power, we're talking about our motherland, Africa, right? Although I was born and raised in the Ferguson, Missouri region of St. Louis, Missouri, but my ancestors, by way of the slave trade and fighting and prisoners of war, come from the motherland, Africa. I made more than 24 trips since 1994 to Kemet. In 1994, Dr. Ben came to my university at Texas Southern University, where I did my bachelor's degree, and gave me money to go to Kemet. And he also gave me a book, From Abu Simba to Giza. And I went to Kemet with that money in 94. 95, I went to Ghana for the first time. Since then, I've born 2 children that were born in different kingdoms in Ghana, and I've made over 24 trips back and forth to various African countries, from Morocco to Ethiopia, to Kemet, to Ghana, to Nigeria, to Burkina Faso, to Liberia. I've been there, right? What I don't like within the conscious community, we have a lot of responsibility. Just the other day, I saw a video of two brothers. I think they were outside of the Black Power Awards. 2 brothers within the conscious community talking negative about our motherland, Africa, right? But we use the African symbols. We use the symbols that God gave Garvey for Africa. We use the Kemet symbols. But when we start talking about building real relationships with our brothers and sisters on the continent, we talk negatively. Those Africans don't like us. They into their tribes. We know the issues, what happened to us as black people. The highest example of us trying to get together represents these colors in the RBG community, red, black, and green. That's what Garvey gave us. And for us to start talking full ignorance about what we think we know about Africa and our African brothers and sisters, without seriously trying to build relationships with them, is doing the conscious community a grave disservice. If we don't have anything positive to talk about Africa, don't talk about it at all. Stop talking about we can't build relationships with our brothers and sisters. You don't even know what you're talking about. If you look at how the country of Ghana was set up, that was our first Pan-African state. Because Nkrumah came here to Harlem. He joined the Harlem Book Club. And he learned from us Africans in the United States. Went back home and founded the country of Ghana. Brought dozens of African Americans there to help build that country before this government and other foreign governments destroyed it and ousted him out. You don't know about Maya Angelou going to work for the Ghanaian government. You don't know about St. Clair Drake, the famous black anthropologist who went and started the sociology department at the University of Ghana at Legon. You don't know about Dr. Lee, who's from Harlem, who left this country and became Ghana's first black medical doctor under Kwame Nkrumah. So stop saying these lies that you don't know what you're talking. If you got this much self-hatred about Africa, then get out the conscious community. All right? I'm not going to call any names, but some of us know better. Work with our brothers and sisters from the continent. We don't even know how to bury our dead. And we're up here talking about whether or not Africans stink. What type of foolishness is that? We don't even know how to communicate with our ancestors. We lost that technology due to slavery. And the only way that we're going to get that back is that we have relationships with our brothers and sisters on the African continent. As an elder in this community, I can chastise people because I've been through it. I know what it feels like for the government to come after you. I was a professor I'm still a professor, but I was teaching, and I made a decision that I was going to stand with my people and not do the black bourgeoisie stuff. And I caught the wrath of the federal and state government, right? But I hung on to Africa. That's what saved me. My brothers and sisters from Afrika saved me. They sent me back to the temples to do things. But yet, because of our ignorance and our self-hatred that we have for ourselves, we want to use Mother Africa. We want to use the symbols of Africa, but we don't want to have any relationship with the brothers and sisters right here on the street who are from Africa. And we come from those families. Find out what kingdom that first African that got off the ship as a prisoner of war in Virginia, in South Carolina, in Louisiana, in Georgia, in New York, in Delaware. Find out that first African in your bloodline. What tribe did he come from? What clan did he come from? There's a way we can find that out. Stop spreading this ignorance and foolishness about our motherland, Africa. Stop it. Because it doesn't do us a good service. We are African people. And I would challenge anybody on that. Stop spreading the foolishness about Africa. Let's reunite and be about and finish the work of Garvey. Let's finish the work in Garvey. He was about building African empires, not about talking about the silly, petty differences. If the United States can build $100 million drone in Niger, which is north of Nigeria, if they have and see that their strategic future lies in Africa, like the Chinese, then what not us? Why aren't we doing trade with our brothers and sisters on the African continent? Huh? Why are we talking this silliness? We got to stop that. So I had to repudiate you the way that it came out, with love. I'm not calling any names. But I hear this a lot in the conscious community. These platforms are sacred. They have a 120-year tradition that you're holding down. And the origins of these platforms that we have in the conscious community, whether it's the Amin-Ra Squad, whether it's the Dagger Squad, or any of these groups, has been grounded in us returning and relating with our motherland, Africa. You don't know the history, right? You don't know the history because you haven't been trained. Now, I'm taking people next year to Africa. I'm going in March and I'm going in August. My brother, Dr. Salim Farji, he's a full professor at Cal State Dominguez Hill. He's taking a group in July. He just got back from spending a year running an African program. We're starting an African university so that our brothers and sisters can be trained properly in our history and our culture. Africa is the center of who we are and our survival. Period. There's no in between. So I'm pleading with you, if you don't know, hit me up. I'm very accessible and approachable for our people. But let's stop the foolishness. Let's build relationships. In New York, there are African clans here, straight from the continent, from Senegal to Cameroon, Angola. Right? So let's talk positive and build relationships. I've done it. It ain't easy. 400 years apart means that we got a lot of talking and building to do. All right? But we need them and they need us. Let's not divide. If the division is going to come, let it come from our historical enemies. And some of our historical enemies are us. They look like us. So let's stop spreading that foolishness. I'm talking about anybody, but this was a direct response to what I saw at the Hip Hop Awards afterwards. Don't talk negative about Africa. We know better than that. And our people, yeah, we got differences. Yeah, we got some stuff to learn from each other, but we need each other. and our bloodlines. You want to talk about metaphysics? Then understand what the morphogenetic energy field is and how that relates to you and the clan that you come from in West and Central Africa. And if you want to hit me up, for those out there in the conscious community who want to know about the trip to the continent I'm doing next year, go to Facebook. I'm the one that have the picture of Amos Wilson's Blueprint for Black Power. Go to Facebook, and I think an old picture of me, a younger picture. I'm now on this plant-based diet, so I'm going to get my health back together with Dr. Sebi's queen, first queen, at the fig tree. Yes, I'm now under her, and I'm getting my health together. But I want us to be serious about Africa. That's our future. All right, and I want us to be serious about relating and having positive relationship with our families on the continent. All right, some of them are confused too. Many of our brothers and sisters who come here, they're confused just like we're confused. They're still under colonialism, neo-colonialism, and we're under colonialism in a settler state. Right? Due to us being taken from Africa. So stop talking like we're not African people. We don't come from China or Antarctica. All right? Stop using motherland Africa, building it as your platform, but then talking bad about your own ancestral spirits who were born in the South will look away and turn their face from you if you keep doing that. Back to the subject of abusing our brothers and Africans born here in the United States. Abuse, I don't care if you're Moors or Hebrew or what. All right? Africa is our motherland. Stop with that foolishness. I can tell you where you are from in Africa. We have the technology in Africa to tell you exactly what clan you come from in Africa. We have that technology beyond DNA. I'm talking about the morphogenetic energy field. We have that technology. And I want to end with this to our brothers and sisters who like down in Africa because they had a bad relationship with a brother and sister from the African continent. And I'm saying this also to our African brothers and sisters who come here and look down on us because we were sold, because a war was waged against Africa and the motherland, and it's still going on to this day. It ain't none of our fault. We learn from history and we heal it. Malcolm X, Malik El-Haj Shabazz said that the secrets of the Nation of Islam, under the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, who was a Garveyite, he said those secrets of how they were able to get black people to join that movement had everything to do with this secret emphasis on Africa. Google it, and you will see the video where Malcolm is saying that. All right? Khalid Muhammad was one of our greatest African leaders. That beautiful African prince. Following in the tradition of Malcolm. Following in the tradition of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, following in the tradition of the most honorable Marcus Mosiah Garvey, following in the tradition of the most honorable Bishop Henry McNeil Turner, following in the tradition of the most honorable Dr. Martin Delaney, following in the tradition of the most honorable Sojourner Truth and Harriet Tubman. All right, let's not play with Africa. Dr. King was serious about Africa. He told his disciples that when I die, you make sure that each one of you pick 5 African countries and you make sure that they are okay and that we build positive relationships with them. Okay? So if you don't like Africa, get out of the conscious community. All right, if you can't build with your brothers and sisters because many of them got serious psychological problems like we do, then get out. But if we're going to survive what's about to happen to us now, we're going to have to relate with Africa. We're going to have to make deals with those brothers and sisters here that we claim or this and that. And to our brothers and sisters on the continent who are here straight from the continent, relate with us. Talk with us, build with us, and we can all grow together. Thank you.